Where has this movie been all my life? We are talking about the film 13 EERIE, a 2013 zombie movie directed by Lowell Green. Now, this is a gory, toxic zombie movie splatterfest. Now, this one stars screen queen legend Katharine Isabelle, who you probably know from Ginger Snaps. But you've also got the likes of Michael Shanks, of course, probably the most notable for his appearances in Stargate SG-1. You've also got Brendan Fuhr, who was in the Roswell TV series. So you have a pretty good genre cast here. And the story focuses on a group of trainee CSIs. And they are basically headed to this remote island, which used to be a penitentiary for death row inmates. And it's long abandoned. And they go there with the hopes of getting a scholarship to this particular, course or what have you. And Shanks is the professor, and it kind of sets them up to do various kind of challenges. But what they don't realise is the island is not quite as deserted as they first thought, and there are scaly, horrible zombies lurking with a taste for human flesh. So let's talk about what works and what didn't work with 13 EERIE. Bit of a bizarre name, I've got to say. It refers to the penitentiary, in case you're wondering. So let's talk about any kind of niggles I have with this film. No major ones, really. Maybe aside from the ending, which is a little bit of an abrupt ending, done on purpose. And it's one of these ones where it tries to be a bit funny. And yeah, it is a little funny, but at the same time, I feel it will be a little bit frustrating for people. I've got to say that's probably the most legitimate criticism, I would say. It's a little cheesy, like I've said. You could have got the dry ice in places. It looks a little bit kind of like, okay, yeah, there's a Hammer horror film, whatever. There are a couple of like silly things that happen. For example, the first victim, he gets kind of tangled up in these vines, basically, and a zombie decides it's going to eat this person's hand first of all, and instead of this person who's trapped kind of like, trying to get the hand away, they've literally got their hands spread out straight so the zombie can have easy pickings of the fingers. And I guess the other thing I would say is when these 6 students, basically, there's kind of 3 of them that are recognisable actors who you've seen in a bunch of stuff, and 3 unknown actors, and you're thinking, I know who the cannon fodder's going to be. And sure enough, you won't be surprised with that one. So let's talk about what works. This movie is fun. If you are a horror fan, and you are a zombie fan especially, you're going to like this movie. You will like this movie because this is a good zombie film. It does a few things maybe a little bit different. At first, I didn't even realise it was going to be a zombie film. I thought it was going to be more along the lines of kind of Wrong Turn, and kind of you have these mutated people. But it's a full-on zombie film. And like I said, it's a fun film. It goes at a good pace. It's quite gory in actual facts. There's a good use of mainly practical effects. In fact, nearly all practical effects, I think. And it doesn't skimp away from showing you innards being ripped out and eaten by these zombies. And you really have 2 types of zombies, which is quite cool as well. So you have your regular zombies, which are the people who get turned in the movie, who, I won't say what happens, but ultimately there are people who get turned and kind of end up being more of your garden variety zombie. But then we have these zombies that are the original ones, the ones that have been there for a long time, and they look awesome. I mean, they are like weathered, and their skin's all kind of burnt and blistered and kind of just knackered. And they look very monstrous, and it's clear, obviously, their skin's now almost like an armour. So they almost have this very kind of thick hide. It almost looks like a lizard skin. So it plays into the story as well. And so these ones are a lot tougher, a lot harder to kill, and look fantastic. These are kind of more of your fast-moving zombie variety, just so you know. And I think that the cast here is clearly having a good time making it. There's some great sort of action set pieces. It goes at a fair old pace, and we have a kind of variation of the final girl, which is a trope I'm personally quite sick of, to be honest with you. But we have a play on it here, which I kind of quite liked. There's a little bit of a variation on it where we don't necessarily have a final girl per se. It's much more of a ensemble piece, and that kind of works for me. It's like the final girl thing's really played out, in my opinion, if you watch the amount of horror films I do. But, you know, it's a fun zombie film. Lots of gore, great special effects, you know, recognisable kind of genre actors, all doing, you know, good performances, not bad acting here. Definitely a solid, if not somewhat cheesy zombie film. This is definitely worth checking out. I'm going to give this movie a 7.5. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? So leave me comments, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.